On.
Yay, we're live. Yay. Hello, everyone.
I like this object.
It's
Hi.
Lloyd here. I'm joined with my very good friend Sharon.
Hello.
And it's exciting because I've just got to catch my breath. I've just run up some stairs. I'm obviously quite unfit. Yes, we are doing art relief sessions every Monday. We started last Monday and Daxa joined us last week and we had a lovely response from that, and then Sharon kindly said she would come in this week with us. So thank you, Sharon, for coming in today.
Thank you for having me. I'm just setting you up. There we go. That's better.
Yeah. So I had a lovely message from, oh my gosh, Jeanette. Jeanette messaged me. And she works for the NHS. And so big shout out to Jeanette because she's doing a tremendous job supporting the NHS in the UK. And she said that she found us last week and started to do these art relief sessions to give herself a bit of downtime from all the stress at the moment. So I just thought, yeah, how wonderful. And I know it's, you know, not just helping Jeanette, but helping lots of people. So I really appreciate you being here, Sharon, because it's having a big impact on people already. I've been speaking to people today, and it's important for us to get together. And
it really is. It really is. It really is.
And I haven't seen you in weeks. So
I miss your face. I miss you.
Oh,
this is a good thing. I'm going to do. This is a good thing. There we go.
Virtual hug. Yeah.
Virtual hugs to everybody out there.
Oh, someone saying we have subtitles. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I don't know how that's happening.
What if we say things like this?
I love it. Lucy and I are joined today. So Stacey and Lucy are tuned in and watching. Wonderful.
Hello.
So today we're doing, hey Mandy, lovely to see you. Dee, hello. Yeah, let us know where you're tuning in from. So Dee, tuning in from the west of Ireland. Thank you for your honest message earlier. I needed to hear it after a tough week. Oh Dee, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yeah, I think sometimes we just have to, we were talking about this, Sharon, weren't we? It's like a roller coaster at the moment. And some days we're like, yes, we can do this. And other days we're like, what's the point?
Yeah. It's a kind of bipolar of all the feelings all the time and nothing for me. It's very strange. It's a very strange time to be in, isn't it? For us all across the globe.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. But it's also I've got to say, oh no, that's another thing. That's a bit more political. That's a different conversation. I'm not going to go into that one. I'm going to filter that bit of random.
Let's get to art. Yeah. So
let's do art.
Everyone, let us know where you're from, and I will go back to the comments in a minute. But so Sharon started to come up with a bit of a theme, inside, outside. So if you had the brief that I sent you, it was to turn up with some art materials, some paper, pens, some tape, and to turn up with one object from the home. So if you haven't done that yet, go and grab an object now. It can be anything. The first thing you see, pick it up.
Look, this is really good as an object.
This is my object.
It's really nice. It's like a little mechanical tea strainer. You know, you put your tea bag or your things in, and then I love these kind of things. You only find those in the kitchen drawer. Kitchen utensils are brilliant.
Yeah,
it's a really nice thing as well.
This
is plants that are so gorgeous.
Well, this came from one leaf, and I wish I'd taken a picture of it because it's grown to this, and my dad gave me this. I can't remember how long ago, and it's supposed to be a money plant. It's got a real name, but it's called a money plant. And I think it was like 2 weeks after he gave me this, I made the most money I ever earned in my life. So
that's obviously working. Can I have a cutting, please?
And I just love this little plant, and I love how it's growing. And so there's something in all. I don't know. It's get a bit deep, but you know, it came from one little leaf and now it's this, and it's with me, and it's in my living room, getting the light from the window, and I kind of want to photograph it now and watch it grow. You can tell I've been locked in.
Oh no, I think it's
Oh,
right.
it's nice, and it's like I'm bonding with my little plants. So that's my object today that I brought along. And then the other little task was because we can't, you know, go outdoors as much, and some people are confined in, they're locked in completely. Like I've been in isolation. I went out for the first time yesterday, just for a little walk with the kids, and it felt so bizarre. But so the other task was to just take a picture from out of your window or out of your door, and then we'll do something with that. But I just thought it would be nice for everyone to post those images as well, because it's so lovely for us to see what you can see, and for us all to feel connected, you know, after we've done this, for us all to share our photographs of the view from our window, the view from our door. So I thought that was very nice.
So are you ready? Are you ready for me to be in teacher mode?
Go, Sharon, go.
It's first of all, I just got to say thank you so much, Michelle, for inviting me on here. It's been a long time, and it feels really weird, and also really gorgeous and lovely. You're doing such a good job of keeping everybody in ship shape and keeping everybody motivated. It's really, really worthwhile things that you're doing. It's really good. I think it's heartfelt from everybody. You'll hear so.
Thank you so much. Oh.
And this feeling of isolation, you know, it's a massive word. It's a big word, and it's heavily loaded. And maybe this isolation period that we're all in, maybe it's a time for reflection. It's a time to do a bit of a stop and a breathe and a calm down. So last week's circles, drawing your breath, was fantastic. I love that. I did it with Edith, my 5-year-old. So those of you who don't know me, I've got a 16-year-old and a 5-year-old, and we both did it, and it was so good just to stop and reflect and take a breath and just notice where we are right now. So that's a really good thing, and that draws us to like quieting our minds, perhaps, with all of the anxiousness that's in our lives right now. We can't have physical touch from our friends or family that are not living with us, and that's really hard. It's really hard, and everybody feels that. So for drawing for me and making art for me is about quieting my mind and allowing those feelings and those thoughts to wander in and out of that space, that Zen moment that I'm in, which is that kind of internal feeling. Hope I'm making sense, and I won't talk too much. But what I would like you to do in this exercise, this is my one thing that I would like you to think about or consider. Rule number one, there's no right or wrong. Everybody's got their own journey. Everybody has got their own journey, their own story, their own thing that they come to this piece of artwork. Everybody is different completely. You can't even copy someone. It just doesn't work unless you're a fraud, you know, one of those really good ones that can just copy everybody's. So what I'd like you to notice before you draw, how are you coming towards this drawing? Are you coming towards this drawing with feeling or with an emptiness? Or maybe I don't want you to like direct it necessarily. I'd just like you to be aware of what place you're coming to this drawing to, you know, and how are you feeling, which is really good, like mandala things that we were doing before last week. So before we draw, you know, before you draw, these are the questions I'd like you to ask yourself. Do you do a little sketch beforehand and then do you paint in afterwards? Do you start with an intention, or do you just let it, you know, without an intention and just like to allow the drawing to happen, unfold as it does? Do you focus on one thing because there's too many things to think about? And if you don't, and it's too overwhelming, and you're almost setting yourself up for failure, so focus down on something small. Reduce the amount of materials that you have. You know, so I've suggested that we come to this drawing, you know, with just a pen or a pencil, I've got other things. I've obviously got so many art materials, and I think we all are a bit of an art materials collectors.
That can be overwhelming, can't it, when you sat in a studio full of stuff?
So start off with your drawing, just for this exercise. Start off by simplifying your colour palette, simplifying your brushes, simplifying your the way that you're drawing. So do you draw with your left or your right hand? Do you draw with your arm out? Do you draw with your feet? Do you draw standing up so your arm is a good distance away from you? Are you drawing like this? So that will have an effect on the way that your drawing works out. I'd like you to notice that. I'd like you to stop and take regular breaks. Stop. Remember to go, oh, what was I doing there? That was crazy. I just lost a whole day and the washing hasn't been done. Put the music on or turn it off. Is that affecting you? So just be aware and be conscious about your internal dialogue and the external perception of what people are thinking that you're thinking. Does that make sense? So we don't really know what anybody else is thinking. So that's the kind of growth that we're talking about. Incidentally, this is a random. I have been doing this. I'm not sure if you can see that.
Oh, right.
It's a bean. So I've been doing this as a bean. So this is my internal garden. I got a bean, put it in did it at school, a little tiny school. So now it's growing, and eventually it will grow, and then we'll be able to eat the bean.
Little side project. So everyone, tell us what your item is that you've chosen from the home. Let us know in the comments. Just grab, if you haven't turned up with an item, just grab something. Grab anything.
Grab something. I just did because I forgot. I thought actually from our conversation, because I'm a bit random and everything, it's normal. Life takes over. I actually set myself up so that I could draw the outside garden that I'm seeing right now. I'm going to show you. This is my view. I'm going to flip it round. That's my view.
Yay. Sunny. Nice and sunny.
So I've got a view that I can look at, and I'm going to draw that. I don't know. Do I draw that or do I draw my item? Michelle, give me that direction, please.
An item and then move on to the outdoor thing. Because we can just draw the item just for a short time.
Yep. So let's start drawing. That's it.
Paula's brought her wine glass. Patricia's brought a comb. Rebecca teapot. Adette's chosen a mug. Sophia's chosen her crystal. Stacey's chosen an apple. Emma's got a fossil. Dorota, hello. Dory has a little sieve. Wonderful. Nicholas,
lovely.
Patricia, energy save, a light bulb. Tracy's got a slotted spoon from the kitchen. Yay, I love it. I can just imagine now everyone around the world with their little item on their table. Mandy's got a small basket from Greece with a collection of stones and wood that meant something to me. How lovely. I love this. And so now, if you've got any tips, Sharon, for getting started and people, because there are some people that will want to draw the whole thing in detail, and some, have you got any tips for just getting going?
Yeah, just get going. There's your pen, there's your paper. What I like to do is I use this part of my hand. If I've got a circular, which I have, I haven't got one of those like things at home, I'm sorry, so I can't show you what I'm doing unless maybe I can set one up.
We can kind of see.
I always want to do that, don't I?
Yeah.
Hold on, let's do that. If I do that, and I'll put it up with something.
A nutcracker. Elizabeth's got an old key. Nice. Carol has got a spiralizer. Wonderful. Shirley's got a plastic heart-shaped figurine cage. No. Hold on, if I can
prop this up, then you can see what I'm doing. No, hold on. We can do this. Obviously, Michelle is the techno wizard, and I am definitely not the techno wizard. I'm trying to prop it up with my pencil, and I can do it. I've got an idea. Right, there we go. Go on.
Wonderful.
Stay, and something. So yes, if I just hold that there, that's it. I only need one hand, I only need this one. So if you've got any ellipses, so this one has got this piece here, has got there you go, an ellipse. So if you turn it like that, ellipses are really hard to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it down here so that maybe you can see it. There, perfect. And I'm going to do exactly the same here, this side. So I'm going to draw intuitively. So just
yeah, I feel like I've got energy to burn off, and I kind of I just want to just
I like to use a biro all the time. I like to use a biro when I'm sketching because it limits the amount of materials that I have to think about. So when I, before we were talking about this, this approach to our drawing, when I draw, I like to allow my mind to do a bit of wondering, and it's almost like a copying. So a biro helps me to speak as well as draw, if that makes sense, because it's limiting the, am I doing the right kind of color? Am I, choosing, the composition? I'm not choosing anything. I'm just allowing myself to just be still and just to draw whatever is in front of me, which is a really lovely, calm kind of way. And there's no right or wrong.
I think I'm going to use my opposite hand.
If you get too like stuck, or if you want it to be free, then use your opposite hand, and that will allow your other side of your brain to take over a bit. Look at the darks and lights. I'm looking at the shapes, and what I do is I like to do some mapping in lines first. So if I squint my eyes at this, that cuts out all the shadows, or cuts out all the lights. It just gives me the shadows, so I can put some shadowy things in. So what I'm doing is I'm just mapping out first. It's just quite nice. And then you can have a conversation. We can have a chat. We can have one of our chats, Michelle.
We can. We haven't done it for a long time.
We haven't. On a Thursday, we used to have. So now at this point, I'm nearly in my zen. I'm nearly in the moment of. That's nice. I've got something to draw. I've got someone to draw with. I don't feel by myself at the moment. I feel like I'm part of something that's bigger than myself, which is really lovely. It's a really nice feeling of not being alone or lonely, which are very different words, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then I can allow my mind to wander a bit and just notice where things are. That's all. I'm recording. And it's probably going to be quite...
I much prefer when I draw with my opposite hand.
You're rubbish.
Hey?
What do you mean? What did you say, Michelle?
I said I much prefer drawing with my opposite hand.
Why is that, do you think?
Well, I think because I don't like representing things as I see them. I like the wibbly wobbly organic, the kind of more abstract. And when I draw with my dominant hand, I kind of can't do the abstract because my brain's too concerned with what it can actually see. And so
that's
interesting. With the hand, it's more like what you said. It's about the feeling of it, but it kind of takes away that preciseness.
Yes.
So I often do draw with my other hand.
Oh, that's really good. See, I'm now thinking about that. I'm quite aware that I'm not aware. Maybe I've just noticed literally that obviously I came to this exercise so that I could speak as well as draw and maybe offer a bit of, I don't know, guidance, or I don't know, join in with other artists around the globe, which is really nice.
I can't wait to see everyone's little items.
But also there's a bit of a pressure there, isn't there, for someone like me to be good or what's deemed as good, which is accuracy and all of that rubbish. No, I'm not saying that accuracy isn't rubbish, but maybe part of myself, the part of me that needs to play that role of teacher at the moment, it has to be good, or what's deemed good, which is accuracy. That's quite an interesting conversation to have.
It is, because we had that last week with Daxa, and she said, it's about the process, not about the outcome.
And everything is a process, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
There is nothing but process in this world. It's all process. There's no finish. There's no ending. It's always going to be the same. So maybe I chose this because I like the mechanics of it, and the mechanics or mechanical objects are quite precise, aren't they? They're engineered. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's why the pen. I've really done a lot of homework on this. It's quite good. So I'm mapping out the lines. I'm mapping out where the sharp edges are of my object. I'm not concerned whether I've got lines. I like the idea that you can see where the mapping or the idea of the artist's hand is in the sketch rather than that being hidden. I'm a big fan of Jim Dine's work. If you don't know who Jim Dine is, check out Jim Dine. He's an amazing printmaker, and did a lot of lino prints, but also uses a lot of mixed media. And he has done a lot of drawings, lots of paintings. He's very insightful. He draws from the heart, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And he also did this lovely exhibition, or not exhibition. He did this lovely sort of drawing of a group of tools. So hammers, nails, pliers, mechanical objects, that have got a voice of their own, even though they are just items to use. And I've got a bit of a fetish about tools.
How are you?
I do like tools and objects that you can make things with, and who made what with it, and it sort of gives them more it gives them more value. If someone's made something using a particular tool, it gives it a lot of value rather than it just being something that's bought that's new. So kind of like a carpenter's tool, or that was made in the old days where people used to have to make their own tools up as a carpenter, and then they would use them to build ships or something, and then they'd have to put their own names on them. And I love that idea of making your own tools and your own brushes and your own pens and found objects. It's the memory of an object. I quite like that object kind of thing. It's really interesting.
I'm just thinking now of different ways people can approach this, like what we've done in the past, where you can do what I'm doing, draw with your non-dominant hand. You can blindfold yourself, so look at the object, and then take the object away and just draw what you can remember from looking at it. Or you can time yourself, so we could do little timed ones now, like literally 30 seconds, look at it, draw it. You can.
Shall we do that? Let's do that. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. I've nearly finished mine. So let's give ourselves, what time are we on now? Let's give ourselves 2 more minutes to finish off this one, and then we're going to move on to something else.
Yes, move on. My non-dominant hand.
If you want to join in, you can, and if you don't want to, you don't have to.
It's so relaxing, isn't it? So apparently there's subtitles on. I have no idea why there are subtitles. I'll get rid of those for next time. I don't think I can do anything about that from here at the moment. There is actually, I think you can get rid of subtitles. There's a little cog in the bottom right-hand corner of the video, and if you press that, I think you can turn subtitles off. Shirley's also drawing with her left hand.
Oh, lovely.
Kate's object is a calligraphy pen set. Wonderful. Sue is from the Isle of Wight. Hello, Sue. Joe just wished back from the shop run. I'm going with my plant in my art room. Are we limited to what we draw, or is it free for all? Free for all, but we've all bought one object. One object. And maybe do that so that you're not, you just focus on that one object for a while. Something. I think it's nice choosing something, because I don't know, I've chosen this plant and I've gone like, oh, looked at this plant in more detail than I ever would, and I've just noticed, just from sitting here doing these little sketches, I've noticed so much more about this plant.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
we're actually observing, aren't we? We're doing observational drawings at the moment. Well, I am. So I'm looking. I'm feeling my way around it. So you're feeling your way around your plant. You are looking at the hard lines, the soft lines, the interlinking shapes between one another.
And also the feeling. You said approaching it with feeling. So I see this plant and it's got like so much life. It's growing every day. I feel like it's got new leaves and it's got energy, and so I think to draw. I was drawing quite quickly because it's how I feel about this object. It's it's got a life and it's got big chunky leaves that are going in different directions. I actually love this plant. I've fallen in love with it.
Oh, has it got a name?
No, it hasn't got a name yet.
You should name it.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Planty McPlanty. Okay, I think I could carry on working on this over and over and over and over and over again. So I'm going to just show you what I've done, so that you can see it. Actually, you can see that.
Oh, that's lovely, and that actually reminds me of Jim Dine.
So here, so what I've done here is I've used my arms like this. Hold on. Sorry.
I love how you've got all that.
So I've used
texture.
I've used my hand on here, and just a biro, just a ballpoint pen, and then that gives me this really nice gentle line.
Oh, look at
the also then you can go over the top of them with harder lines, and then lots of cross hatching and thinking about where the light and the dark is. So then I'd put some dark in and then put some light in afterwards. So that's one drawing that you could do, and which is an observational drawing, isn't it? It's just a look. It's using your retina. It's copying what you can see with your retina, and it's not using feeling.
Yeah.
So now let's do something else with this. Okay. So if you want to do this, let's do opposite hand. Opposite hand. Opposite hand. Have a look at your draw. Have a look at your picture. Your picture. Sorry.
Oh, Stacey says she's drawn her apple with only using straight lines. I like that.
Well, that's a good idea. There
we go. Yeah. Ali, hello. Ali's drawing with her non-dominant hand in pen, wave, emerging, a rabbit, whole, weird, wonderful, wistful, lovely. Yeah, go on. Sorry, I was just checking the comments.
No, it's good. It's nice to hear because I can't see anyone else's, and I can't see any comments.
Oh, can you not? Only I can see them. Oh, okay. Yeah. Mandy's tuning in from the rural in the UK. Emma's from Telford, part of the Belfry Pottery.
Yay!
Gemma's tuning in from Wolverhampton in the UK. West Sussex from the UK. Nicola, hello. Rebecca's tuning in from Winchester in the UK. Hello. Hi, Jay. Lovely to see you. Jay's one of my old friends. Patricia's tuning in from Dublin. Tracy's tuning in from the Virginia, US. Lovely. Jenny's tuning in from Derby, UK. Lizzie from Worcestershire, UK. Tanya from Australia. Hello. Rebecca from Winchester, UK. Hello. Lots and lots more. Lovely, lovely to have you all here. Okay, let's keep going.
Okay, so we've had probably about 15-20 minutes on one drawing. So we know what our object looks like because we've looked at it, and we've looked at it from lots of different angles, and we understand what it's made up of. We looked at the shape of it. We sort of get to know it. We've seen it now, haven't we?
It's funny. The more you see, the more you look at something, the more you see. It's crazy.
Yes. Yeah. So one nice little exercise. It's linked with I don't know. Let's do. Oh, I've put myself on the spot. Let's do opposite hand. Okay, and let's time it. So I would like you to use opposite hand. Have a look at what you can see, and then using your opposite hand. So I'll swap over. So I'm looking what I can see. I know that it's got a ball on it. It's got some wibbly. It feels hard. And I'm going to draw it, but I'm only going to allow myself 2 minutes. So we're starting. Have we got a timer? Let's have a look. Approximately 2 minutes. I'll tell you when 2 minutes is up. Okay.
Okay.
Ready? Go.
Ready. Steady. Go. 2 minutes with your opposite hand.
Opposite hand. We've got 2 minutes, so we've got to work really fast, which makes us feel really hurried. Quick. And there's no accuracy in this one. And this is really good fun. Does anybody know that?
Yeah, another one is a continuous line, isn't it? Without taking that. I'm kind of doing that as well. I found.
Yeah.
You don't take your pen or pencil off the paper.
So I'm drawing a really sort of kind of accurate. I'm drawing an accurate thing, an object, but I can't get it as accurate because I'm using the opposite hand, which I am really struggling with actually. But it's really fun. I'm enjoying it. Get those little thingy wiggly bits in. How we do time? Got 1 minute. Have we had 30 seconds left?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Breath. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Okay, so this is what my drawing turned out like. Hold on. Can you see this?
Yeah. That was really cool.
This is amazing.
I didn't. So mine was non-dominant hand, but also without taking my pen off the paper. So continue.
I think mine was as well.
I like that.
Okay, so when we talk, let's go back to internal feelings. We were talking about that earlier about having we're going to come into our drawing with an intention. So initially, my default setting was to come to this object and record it as accurately as I possibly could, which doesn't give me my internal voice. It was just about, I am a teacher, this is what I should be doing, and I should conform. Maybe those were all in my mind at the time. So then I produced, this quite tight, drawing, which is, it doesn't really have a voice. It's whereas this one, you can see. This one is much more exciting to me. I feel much more energetic, and that was drawn in 2 minutes.
Tracy,
we have to have.
Yeah, Tracy just said that, Sharon. She just said, I've managed to give life to my metal spoon with my opposite hand. It's like brought it to life. Yes.
Yeah. So So when we come to our drawing next time, we should do that. Okay, should we do another one? Should we do another little exercise? Now we're freeing up our minds a little bit. Let's get some more paper.
Okay, yeah.
You can use the same paper, you don't have to, you can use a different sheet. What I would like you to do is I would like you to have your object in front of you. So place your object in front of you. So place your object in front of you. Okay, so you can see it, but having another piece of paper over the top, like this, over the top of your hand, so you cannot see what you're drawing.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Okay, so you can use your opposite hand or your a different hand if you want to. You can use someone else's hand. So that would be quite fun.
Now this is strange, though. I don't know what to see. I'm dying to look. This is
So you cannot see. No cheating.
Oh.
So you can't.
Are we going to be timed on this one as well? Should we do 2 minutes on this one?
Let's do 2 minutes. Okay, so
has everyone got their paper ready over the top or something to hide their hand? Don't cheat.
Yep, no cheating.
We can see you. Not really.
Go. So maybe this is a really good way of really looking at what you're doing. I mean, I cannot see.
This is great if you don't take your eye off what you're looking at now.
And you're having to remember where you've just been.
Oh, yeah. Awkward.
It's really good for your memory. And
I'll do this with
oh, God, that isn't so good. This is really good fun.
Oh, my life. It's so weird. I'm nervous. I've got butterflies in my stomach.
That's all coloured in. Crisscrosses. 3 little things. Sometimes this is a good one. Sometimes this is a good exercise to do so that it stops you from giving yourself or giving your negativity committee like a bit of a voice or taking over. You know, so when we're drawing or when we're artists, a lot of our negative comments or negative mind, parts of us, they kind of take over sometimes, don't they? I think I've finished. Have you finished? I've got 30 seconds. Should we do 30 seconds? Ready?
Because I just feel like I'm going to make a big mess of this now.
I'm going to draw the shadow on mine as well. The shadow is really nice. So we're drawing with feeling now, memory, and we're really looking as well. This is a good base to do abstract art from as well. If you need to start. Finished?
I think so.
Ready? Reveal. Oh, I love this one. God, this is really gorgeous.
Wow.
That way. There we go. Wow. Michelle, yours is lovely. It's all you're using all of the page.
Yeah, I didn't realise I was using all of the page.
Wow. So these are really great starting points for abstract. You know, so if you wanted to allow yourself a bit more freedom with your internal feelings or your dialogue, then you can take this process and then you can go, well, do you know what? I would like to put some colours on here, you know, and let's take this a step further, shall we? Should we go with this, continue with this one?
Mm.
So maybe if you have any colours with you, any paints or any or choose just one colour, you know, one colour that you feel like you're drawn to. So I'm going to choose orange. Ooh, oh, I think I might want blue actually. Blue. So
should we change the material now? So if you used a pen, maybe you choose something different.
Yeah, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop with the pen now. I think I feel like this is a nice process journey that I would like to continue with or explore it further. I like the shapes in it. I like the enclosed sort of egg forms here. and these sort of lines and shadows. So I'm going to actually draw or paint on top of this, which is a really nice sort of developmental practice or process. I've got some just very simple watercolors here. They're very cheap, very inexpensive.
I'm going to choose
a wash.
I'm going to choose this little bit of charcoal I just found on the floor.
And you know what? Because I feel like I want this freedom, I feel like in my mind, now I've come from very tight to, I want to breathe a bit more. I want this sort of breathing kind of movement. I'm going to actually just put loads of water all over my page in sort of circular forms like this.
Are you going back to the same one now? To like
same
the
one?
Yes.
So it's the same drawing, and then I'm just going to pop some water over there, so it's really light and delicate. Let's do this. Let's see this.
I think I'm going to do another one in a different material completely, but still using my hand.
So now I'm wanting to explore these shapes a bit further, but using
excuse me,
some kind of, I don't know, turn upside down. Maybe take some of these these sort of circular shapes, and then do some more, but with a more of a delicate kind of way rather than a linear. I'm going to look at colour in. So I'm going to colour in some of them. See this. Can you see this okay, Michelle?
Yeah. Oh yeah, looks good.
And also it's thank you, Michelle, for saying that. It looks good. But I'm not after it looking good. I want the process. Just like. And maybe maybe a bit of an orange somewhere as well. I feel like there needs to be an orange bit there. So now we can take this shape and go with it. So this mechanical kind of object can now be explored even further, but using our feel, the feeling of it. And if you feel like I'm tightening it up, and I don't want it to tighten up. I liked the freedom of it and the not knowing what's going to happen next. So it's quite nice to just go, I'm going to spend 2 minutes and I'm going to do whatever I want to it. What does this need? Breathe into it for a while, and then stop. Do another one and another one and another one until you, or maybe treat it with something else, with some wax crayon or something. See what a wax crayon does. I want to colour in this bit here. It would be quite nice to colour in, just because it's a lovely shape. Like a bit of energetic kind of wax in there. Put these little kind of squirrely things. Maybe there could be some more in these bits. Maybe they could, squirrely bits those little squirrely things, which are these parts that I drew with my blindfold on. Maybe I could repeat them. Maybe that could be like the movement. So now I'm not actually observing anymore. I'm using my imagination to repeat patterns and to play and explore and just have a bit of fun. Yeah. Have some fun.
This is good practice, isn't it, Sharon?
Have some
Wow. I'm going to do that in a minute. That was very exhilarating. Yeah, but this play though, people don't make enough time to play, and this is the perfect time to play. I mean, you've been an artist for 20 odd years now, haven't you? And your time to play is important, isn't it?
Oh yes.
As a full-time artist, you still, you've always talked to me about the importance of play and
playtime is really important. It's almost like taking your line for a walk. I've just got to say that I'm going to try and go through the process of what my brain is doing right now. I've gone and let's try and explore this a bit further. So we went from here, where I was feeling really tight, to here, using the opposite hand, to taking it a step further, to not actually seeing what I'm doing, to then introducing some limited colour, to then introducing some freedom. And at this point right now, I am really happy. I'm in my happy play zone moment. I have not got a care in the world. I don't care what it's going to look like. I'm enjoying the circles and the lines and the shapes, and I'm going to repeat those shapes and those patterns. I'm going to colour some things in. I'm going to keep it quite simple. Get some more wax crayons on there as well, and I'm going to play. I'm going to play with these parts of this thing. But you can still see the drawing underneath it.
Yeah, I just did a quick non-dominant hand again, charcoal this time. And I'm really liking the shapes.
You are?
Yeah.
What kind of shapes are they?
They're not, you can't really describe them, but they're kind of like squished, oblong and organic and, you know, elongated.
Oh, lovely.
Wibbly wobbly leaf shapes, but they're not. Yeah, it's like mixing both of what you're saying, what I can see, but then also just how I feel about it. So taking the plant as the starting point, but letting myself just go on a little journey. Catherine says, "I love you, Sharon."
No, who was that?
Catherine.
Hello, Catherine. I love you. You're amazing.
Stacey, posting drawings to the virtual art studio. Yes, using the UAS art relief hashtag. So if you would like us, we would love to see what you've drawn from today. Please share. We've got the virtual art studio group, and we've also on Instagram. You can tag us and put the hashtag UAS art relief, and we will find the posts. We'd love to see all these objects. Now, Rebecca's using chalk pastels, which I found in my garage, never been used by me. Think of my great grandmothers. Wow.
Wow, that's really lovely. So you're using something that's got history to it, or her story to it. Yeah. That's amazing. Okay, I feel like this is it's kind of a wild journey, and I want to stop in a minute, but I can't just yet.
Yeah, maybe we should move on to the outdoors quickly before we go.
Oh yeah. Okay, before we do this, I just want to.
Already. Can you believe it? It goes so quickly. Making art just.
It has. What we can do now. This to me is quite busy. So what I would like to do is take a viewfinder.
Loving this session. Good to hear. My favourite one. That's my favourite. I love that.
That's really lovely. It's really loopy.
Yeah, that's the one I didn't take my hand off. Yeah.
So what we can do with this now, because mine is really busy. You drop your phone on the floor. You can now start moving these around to find some really nice compositions of some sort of abstract pieces that then you could develop with or create or use, or you could just tear it up and use them as collage or use them as backgrounds of surfaces for more drawings and more feelings and more expression. So just to recap, we came to this with isolation, which is a big word, a reflection time, and to quieten your mind a bit. So the act of drawing for me is about quieting my mind, and it's about the internal dialogue that I have with myself and drawing with emotion. And initially, when we started off, it was quite strict, rigid, you know. And the first drawing is always the worst drawing for me. So the first sculpture is always the first sculpture, which is the worst sculpture. So you've got to get into the mindset to give yourself some nice little tasks to go, right, I'm going to do whatever it is that works for you. And it doesn't work for everybody. And this is not the finished product that we're after. It's a process, isn't it? So what I would like maybe to focus on, if I could direct it, is have a think about how you feel about this object internally and what it means to you. You know, who is it held by? Who did it, you know, who did it belong to? What's the meaning behind it? Do some writing about it. So journal it a bit so it stays there, so it's not all, you know, so you've captured a thought that then maybe you could look to in the future, perhaps.
Because even if someone chose a completely random object, it won't be completely random. There's a reason why out of everything you own in your home, you picked that one thing. You chose that one thing, and that's no accident. So it's interesting, isn't it? You can go really deep on this. I love it.
I like the feeling of this.
How do you feel about that object now you've looked at it? Like this plant, for me, I've seen so much in this plant that I thought I already had seen but hadn't. It's interesting, isn't it, when you take the time to really look? But I love that, what you're saying about thinking about the history of it. Where did it come from? Who's held it?
Yeah, it has got a history in it, and it's the link between you. And this is your internal story, your internal dialogue. This is your internal thought processes. And it doesn't have to be really deep. It can just be, actually, this rolling pin, my mum used it to bake cakes and she did it every Sunday. And I liked that moment. Write that little moment down. And then maybe that could be it could be the start of another journey somewhere along the line, if you want it to be. If you don't, you don't have to. There's no problem. It's just the time we have right now is really nice. So the external dialogue, it's the perception of, or no, just have a look in. Yeah, get me teeth in. Draw what you can see outside. Notice the colour of the earth. Do you have any trees where you live? Is it snowing? What's the weather like? How does that make you feel? Is it dark when you're drawing, or is it light? Do you like to draw in the morning? Do you like to draw in the afternoon or in the evening? When are you better? You know, when is your mind more switched on? When do you need to draw more? You know, is it when you have a flag at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you need a coffee? Is that when you need to have a break? And is that when you need to stop and relax and reflect and look?
Do you know what, as well? Sorry, just say something that's on my mind.
I'm done. I'm finished. I think I'm all like, oh, the workshop. How will be
so everyone take a picture from a window or a doorway, or sat on your doorstep or something like that. It's a scene that you see. You see it every single day. But because we see it every day, we're rushing out the door usually, we go off. And for me, there's a point on the landing. And it's a window that I don't really look out of that often. And so your exercise made me sit for a minute and think about which window would I choose. And I chose that window, and I sat and I looked and I started to really look, you know, like we've been really looking at our objects today, and we start to see more and more. And when you really look at the scene outside your window and you start to draw it, like you just said, you start to notice the tree. There's a tree that I noticed today. I just don't ever notice, because I do, but it's because I see it every day. I don't look because it's there. My brain knows it's there. It's like, that's the tree. Yeah. You don't need to, you know, your brain's always looking for differences, for new things. And so this exercise is great for, you know, really looking at what's on your doorstep outside your house, and really looking and taking, you can do this exercise because we've run out of time now, but I'd love you to go off after this and go and choose a window or doorway and sit and really observe, like we have with the object here, and see what new things you start to notice, like the colours, shapes that you just didn't see before. And I'd love to know if you spot new things.
I love that idea that you saw a tree and you didn't see it before. That's brilliant. That's so funny.
It's like
But
I
it's
knew.
so true. It's so true.
It's like I
What
knew it was there, but I didn't know what colour it was. Like if you'd said to me now, what colour is that tree outside your house? I'd be like, what tree? Oh yeah, that. I don't know.
how does it feel? What's the texture of it like?
Yeah.
You know, how does it grow? Does it like the sun, or has it got buds? What do the buds look like? What do the leaves, what the shape of the leaves, how do they grow? It's that whole, you know, that you were talking about growth earlier, about your plant, your house plant, which is growth, which is metaphorically and actually growing, you know, in a timeline, you know, in a space of time, which is what our original, you know, this seedling is doing. It's really good to just stop and notice what things are doing right now. It's a nice time to breathe and to be and to go. Also, one last thing, it could go on and go on and on. It's an endless conversation. I would like to say that if you're like me and you do look outside the window or the wall or the hallway, or you're in, you know, whatever you're looking at outside, sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming. There's so many things to look at and there's so many things to see, and that would make me really anxious. If someone told me, draw what you can see outside your window, I'd be like, that, no, it's going to take me back to school and I hated doing that sort of thing, and it's like too much and it wouldn't be exciting. But so I'd like you to choose one thing. If you become really overwhelmed with everything that you see in, just choose one little tiny small part and then look at that small part, like the tree.
Yeah.
The tree is massive. It's huge. You can't just record a tree in an hour. You know, that's going to make you stressed out. This is not for that.
You can use the same exercises like we've done now. Use your non-dominant hand and just time yourself for 2 minutes. Everything that we've just done, you can apply to the outside one. In fact, I would do the same things maybe in those order with the outside one. And also there was that great artist, oh, I can't remember his name. I'm so terrible with names. That says that, you know, when you really look, actually before you draw something, you should sit for a good few minutes just looking. So sit out.
Oh God, that's the little man with a moustache, and he works. Yes. I want to say Ansel Keefer, but I always get his name wrong. It's Ansel Adams.
Yes, that's the one. And so he's brilliant. He's great, and he says, you know, you should spend more time looking than you should drawing. And I thought that was just such an interesting thing to say, a great concept to say. So spend some time. And that's what I did, just looking out the window before you do anything. Just look at the plant, just look at it. And I guess that's what we've been doing here by using the non-dominant hand, is looking, spending more time looking than being precious about what we're doing.
Yes.
And then
there's no right or wrong, and there is no one is going to judge you on your drawing. No one is, but it's up to you to allow yourself to have that freedom and that playtime. And we're all the same. Everybody is in the same position right now, aren't we? We're in the same position. All artists are in the same boat. We are humans. We have feelings. We have emotions, and we're constantly learning. It's a constant journey, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong. I think some people get scared to make art because they think it has to look amazing after they've done it, but there's nothing wrong with just using your other hand, closing your eyes, covering the paper up, just like we've done today, and it just gets you going. And we've created some lovely things. I've just been reading the comments now saying I've really enjoyed this, the freedom of it. I love this session. Thank you so much. Well, I'll be noticing everything now. Thank you, guys. Yeah, and some people just saying as well that they really liked the outcome. So, you know, it's process, but also if you come out with something that you like for me, I really like this one, and I'm going to think, why do I like this? This is going a step further now. But what is it that I like about that? Why am I drawn to that? And
what is it like this? And what is it? How did it make you feel about doing that? Is it the process that you liked? Is it the actual physical? I really like using, you know, really getting into it, or is it the actual end product? You know, so maybe that's a good question to ask yourself.
It is, yeah. Fantastic. Thank you, Sharon, so much. I can't believe an hour has passed. I mean, I feel like we've just been on here 5 minutes. We haven't even had a chance to chat. This is unlike usually, but I can't multitask if I'm drawing. I can't talk. So to recap, so yeah, really look at something. Use those exercises, non-dominant hand, cover it up, go now. We'd love to see your pictures, so post them on Instagram or in the virtual art studio, or you can post them on our page. UAS Art Relief is the hashtag, but please tag us on Instagram because we'll share them in our stories. And then go now and look outside a window and go really see and use these same exercises to do what we've just done with the outside view. And we would love to see photographs, your drawings of the outside view as well, because we can't go anywhere. So it'd be amazing. How amazing would it be to see all your pictures from your views? Those everyday things that you take for granted and will just wow us. So share those as well. And thank you so much for joining us. Everyone's saying big, big thank you. Thank you, Sharon. We love you. Thank you for giving us an hour of your time to join us today. I really, really, really appreciate it. So thank you. And have a lovely day, everyone. See you all soon.